Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TCG Worlds 2019. Thank you so much for being here, really appreciate it. And as you can see, we are now moving on to Celebi and Venusaur GX tag team. So 270 HP at grass type, a really nice amount of HP. And then we have the attack Pollen Hazard, which is going to be our best friend here. 50 damage, and then the opponent's active Pokemon is now burned, confused, and poisoned. Triple status moves at the same time. Really nice, especially a confusion, because it makes it difficult for your opponent to continually attack Venusaur, giving you extra time to heal yourself. And we have the attack Solar Beam, dealing 150 damage for 4 energy, a very solid amount as well. And finally, we have the Evergreen GX plus attack. So for the same 2 grass and 2 colorless, we deal 180 damage. And then you heal all damage from this Pokemon if this Pokemon has at least 1 extra grass energy attached to it. In addition to this attack's cost, you shuffle all cards from your discard pile into your deck. Now, we hadn't seen this effect since Lysander's Trump card, which is a long time ago since its release. This deck does have a lot of disruption, so you'll be very happy to reuse it with the Evergreen GX Plus effect. And yeah, especially because we have fire weakness, so any fire decks will be very tough to beat. However, the 4 retreat cost doesn't really matter too much. Now, to accompany Celebi and Venusaur, we have Shaman, another legendary Pokemon, I guess. With its ability Floral Heal, once in your turn before you attack, you may heal 20 damage from your active grass Pokemon. So a really nice Pokemon to combine with Celebi and Venusaur. It's a really big tank, and then Shaman makes it even harder to KO. And then we also have Absol. Its ability Dark and Vision means if your opponent's active Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, its retreat cost is 1 colorless cost more. Therefore, the Jirachi plus a skateboard combo that people were talking about in the chat is actually no longer viable. No Acrobatics indeed, Destroyer King. Now, supporters wise, we have 4 Lily, 3 Cynthia, 2 Judge, 2 Guzma, and 2 Acerola. So, draw power plus a little bit of disruption and healing. Items wise, we have 4 Crushing Hammer, 4 Netball, 4 Nest Ball, so we can search for all the Pokemon that we need and within the deck quite quickly. We have a single Counter Catcher, a single Enhanced Hammer as well, 1 Escape Board, 1 Field Blower, so a lot of Escape Rope, sorry, not Escape Board. A lot of utility in those cards along with the Multi-Switch as well. And we also have 2 Judge Whistle, which is one of the newer cards. You get to choose one, either draw a card or you put a Judge card from your discard pile into your hand. So it's useful either way, but it can help you in using Judge and disrupting whatever your opponent is planning. And attacking with the first attack Confusing whilst combining that with a Judge will make it very difficult for your opponent to be able to keep up with the damage output. We have Double Ether Paradise to protect our Celebi and Venusaur, make it an even bigger tank, along with Light Forest Prism Star, where once during each player's turn, that player may heal 60 damage and remove all special conditions from one of their grass Pokemon. So a really useful Prism Star Stadium there. We have 2 buff padding to increase the HP of Celebi and Venusaur by 50 because our Pokemon has exactly a 4 retreat cost, and we also have double weakness policy in case we're up against Blacephalon or Charizard. This might give us a fighting chance. Finally, 4 DCs and 8 grass energy round out the deck, and so let's jump into a ladder and see what we can do with this tag team deck. Remember guys, this is the second deck of the 6 that we're going to feature with all the tag teams. All the tag teams are going to see play today, I guarantee that. So we'll see how we go. Worm Townie, why are there M&Ms? I mean, it's kind of a local joke, I guess. For the stream, people know I love M&Ms, and so you can send me M&Ms instead of bits, right, over on the cup. It's one way to support the channel, and I'm trying to do this M&M challenge to encourage people to subscribe to the channel if you want to support and to just have some fun, really. Versus, is Ultra Necrozma still viable? Definitely, especially because it deals a lot of damage to all of these Tag Team GX cards. Now this hand, not the best, not the worst. Starting with anything that's not Celebi Venusaur is actually not ideal for this deck. We are up against Glacian Greninja, interestingly enough, which I feel like it should be a decent matchup for us. We'll have to see. My opponent will get one big hit, right? My opponent will get one big hit with the Polar Spear GX attack from Glacian, but afterwards, he really shouldn't have a lot going for him, I would say. And there's the Celebi Venusaur, so really, really nice here. We don't care about our GX abilities being shut off because we literally have 0 GX abilities in our deck. Alex, you feel like Zoroark, the Zero Ninetales is falling off the meta more and more, especially with the new Tag Team GX decks and new list for Blacephalon. I agree. It is more awkward. It is a more awkward deck than other stage 2 decks like Gardevoir. Yep, that is true. Yeah. I agree that Zoroark, the Zero Ninetales is definitely not as strong as it used to be. Viridian Forest makes Ultra Necrozma so good. Yeah, I agree. Viridian Forest is definitely a nice bump to Malamar decks. Bowser, antes de que Tag Team sea 100% y que se empiece a jugar los distintos decks, ¿cuál crees que es el Tag Team con más ventaja contra ellos mismos? Definitivamente Pikachu y Zekrom es el más poderoso. Okay, so let's try and remove that energy. Not gonna happen today. Okay, so then let's go ahead and from your active grass Pokemon. Okay, so let's go ahead and bench a Shaman. Let's definitely attach an energy. Let's definitely buff padding. And then it sucks that Glacian deals 90 damage because that means Absol isn't knocked out. I think I'm gonna hold off on the Judge here because I already have the DC, which would be the difficult card to get sometimes with this deck. I also wouldn't mind having another, like using Pollen Hazard with Triple Grass in case my opponent is running some sort of disruption. Ooh, my opponent is running Alola Ninetales with the Luminous Barrier. So it's gonna make it super awkward because I can't attack the Alola Ninetales, but it's also not gonna do too much damage to me. So it's gonna be a really weird game where we cannot bypass the Alola Ninetales, but my opponent will not be able to take down our Celebi Venusaur. So that's gonna be super interesting to see how it ends up playing out. I'm just gonna go ahead and pass now. Once again, next turn I will end up using Nest Ball for another Shaman, healing 40 damage of the 30 of the 60 that I will already have. And why would you play Elms with the 70 HP Froakie? Huh, interesting. What does Absol do? Its ability, if your opponent's active Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, its retreat cost is 1 more. So it stops Jirachi, the Jirachi skateboard engine, in its tracks. Yeah. Okay, so we get Frost Bulleted. I think targeting down the Shaman would have been smarter because it takes away options for me to heal the Celebi Venusaur. Right? I don't want to hit for 150. I think I'm just going to commit the grass. No, I'll commit the DC. Sure, why not? And then I'll search for another Shaman. I will double up on the abilities here. Floral Heal number 1. Floral Heal number 2. And then I do think I should Judge. And honestly, it might come down to a deck out game where I have the obvious advantage because I have the Evergreen GX attack, which just puts my whole discard pile back into my deck. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull in Hazard. It's going to be difficult for Glacian to attack next turn. Even if it does get an attack off, its Polar Spear GX attack is not very threatening. Does get the Burn Heal, which is perfectly okay by me. Next turn I can just finish it off with Solar Beam. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. What stadium should I play in Glacian Omastar? Probably Viridian Forest, too thin. You can't play Brooklet Hill. I think the only good neutral one would be Viridian Force, maybe? Though that would help the opponent as well sometimes. Not sure. Not sure, Jake. Max, no tengo para intercambiar. Toda esta cuenta está con candado. No tengo Hirachis para cambiar. Is Jirachi and a skateboard not good in the Pikarom deck, Tuskio? Okay, so I've played a total of 3 games with Pikachu and Zekrom, the ones you just saw on stream. So I don't know if it's good or not. From what I can theorize, I liked the engine that I was using better because Jirachi and skateboard does take up a lot of space. Yeah, it does take up a lot of space. So I chose not to run them. Yeah, Jirachi skateboard is still a pretty good engine. It takes away from other things you can run in the deck, but it's definitely a viable thing to do. I don't like relying, like, you're at max gonna use 1 Jirachi, right? So how many spots do you dedicate to Jirachi? Because you do want to start with it, but playing 4 seems a little bit too high. And yikes. So my opponent took away my DCE. Oh my gosh. We are in trouble. I might be better off using Acerola here. And PG Dice, thank you so much for the subscription with Twitch Prime. Very, very kind of you. Okay, if he Polar Spears here, he definitely gets a knockout, right? So I think Acerola is the right play. Right here. I don't want him to. He already flipped ahead, so in theory, next turn, he would end up flipping Tails. And I will just go ahead and pass here. The passive damage from the poison is nice. I'm generally not scared of the Ninetales whatsoever. Thank you so much for the follow as well. And Gardenia is a lot better than Acerola, Destroyer King. I disagree. And you know why I disagree? Because Acerola gets the Pokemon out of the game, which means your opponent can maybe not draw those 7 prize cards. Yeah, whereas if you if you keep the Pokemon in play, it's always a liability, and Gardenia doesn't heal you completely. Yeah, Gardenia doesn't heal you completely. Okay, so now we're in that weird spot where I can't attack him. So should I power up something on the bench? Maybe? And then just wait it out? Yeah, the Venusaur, like, it shows the damage, but it doesn't have it anymore. It just shows it. It is a bug indeed. Choice Helmet is greater than pads. Doesn't Choice Helmet only reduce damage from non-GXs? I mean, I'm not saying there's only one way to run the deck. Yeah, I'm choosing this one, but there are other techs that could definitely have some merit. Okay, so my opponent also has Acerola. It doesn't go away when I set it down, I think. There's actually a bug, like if I set it down and then my opponent hits me for 200, it'll show on my side that it's knocked out, but then it won't be knocked out, and then on the other side it doesn't show as knocked out. It's really weird. It's really, really weird. Okay, so I'm gonna end up losing another Shaman now. And that means I can't lose a single Celebi and Venusaur GX. Energy Loto to search double colorless. No, I disagree. Like, we're not trying to win the game as fast as possible by attacking immediately. We are a tank. Yeah, that's our mission here. But yeah, I can see how we're going to lose this game though. I can see how we are going to lose this game. The heads my opponent flipped on the Glacian, plus him getting the Enhanced Hammer, plus us whiffing the Crushing Hammer, all of that, and starting Absol, all of that culminated into us not having a great setup here. So sure, I can get that. The thing is, I'll eventually have enough damage counters on my Celebi Venusaur because I'm not drawing any of my Ether Paradises or my other Stadium. I'm going to eventually have enough damage counters to where he will be able to knock me out with the Polar Spear GX attack. And that's the biggest concern. Yeah. Shaman just seems like a liability? No, Bigor Busta, definitely not. Definitely not. It's far from a liability. It's key to the deck working properly. It just so happens that we're up against a really weird deck that has perhaps a decent-ish matchup against us, but that's not the case. Okay, so I'm gonna Floral Heal. And then this has a 1 retreat cost. I think I'm gonna Guzma this guy. If he has Guzma DC, he wins anyway, so there's nothing we can do at this point about that. We've played 1 draw supporter, which was a judge. We're playing for Lily, we're playing Cynthia's. Not much you can do when that happens. Yeah. Not much you can do when that happens. And there's a Guzma. Wow. Incredible. Yep, very smartly takes down another Shaman. Because without healing, I'm obviously going to be in a lot of trouble. Finally get an energy. But Pollen Hazard does nothing, of course. And it's just a matter of time before we end up losing this game. Attaching energy to that Frogadier was really silly though. Really, really silly. But yeah, we haven't been able to draw, we haven't been able to do anything really. And with 3 of the Shamans gone, yeah. And I can see it here. With 3 of the Shamans gone, we can't heal enough damage. Not much you can do. Bench damage is definitely how you can deal with this deck, by having bench damage and then having a big attack with something like Polar Spear. But Greninja Glacian is a terrible deck, guys. Like, you're not gonna face that at a tournament. And if it's a bad match over Celebi Venusaur, then so be it, you know? This could just be a meh deck. Yeah, this could just be like a terrible deck for sure. Thank you so much for the follow. This could just end up being a terrible deck, but let's be fair. I played 1 draw supporter, and it was a judge. Not even a Lily, not even a Cynthia. I played 1 draw supporter, it was a judge, and that was it. So let's be real here. Yeah, you can't say a deck is bad or good off of 1 game. You can't say Shaman is bad or good off of 1 game. Yeah. Okay. So double Shaman, and see, like, what can you do? No nest balls, no net balls, no thinning whatsoever, no draw power, no nothing. So what do you do in those situations? Like, just look at this. Just look at this. It's just a pure pass. Javoxa, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Apenas, este es el 5º juego. Jugamos 3 con Pikachu y Zekrom, y ahora 1 con Celebi Venusaur, y ahora 1 más. Alex, I mean, I don't know if it's really that good. I will have to try it out. I haven't tried it out. The cards just came out now. But there must be a reason why everyone in Japan shifted to Viridian Forest over Ultra of the Moon, right? So for the online game, do cards drop in value after the first few days? Usually, yeah, because the more days that go by, the more packs that get opened, and therefore the more supply of each card there is. But if a card is good, then they end up staying pretty expensive in the beginning because everyone wants to play decks like Pikachu and Zekrom and things like that. I believe that's how the market usually works. Muchas gracias, Javoxa, por los bits. Okay, so this deck is ending up being very frustrating. Very frustrating with this awful draws. Bisharp Scissor GX. Bisharp Scissor GX. Metal Goggles. Your opponent's attacks and abilities can't put damage counters on it, so we can still burn and poison this guy. Okay, so we top deck a Judge. We flip heads, that's very nice. And let's go ahead and Judge. And hopefully we get something. Okay, that's something, I guess. That is something, and then we'll pass. You pulled a regular, rare, or rainbow rare Pikarom online. That's pretty cool. Real games. Let's see. I hope someone picks up that trade. You have 31 tag team packs. You're tempted to open them. Yeah, you should never ever open packs. It's always strictly better to trade the packs for the cards. It's always strictly better to trade the packs. I have no idea about values, guys. That I cannot help you with. Metal Frying Pan takes away weakness. See a Guzma, single launch. If this Pokemon has no damage counters on it, this attack does 90 more damage. Wow. Okay, so goodbye first Shaman. Goodbye first Shaman. Netball, thank you. We can finally get a Celebi Venusaur. We see that one is priced along with a Shaman. Not great, but not terrible either. We can play the double colorless. And we will go ahead and Lily. Okay, so no grass energy here for us to attack next turn. I think I should definitely retreat and save the Shaman. I will take 120 damage to the face, but hopefully I can slow the damage down a little bit next turn off of the Cynthia, finding a grass, confusing, and then healing as well. So we'll see. We shall see. Okay. Yeah, it's the same as, like, you should buy boxes if you want to support your local stores and stuff. You shouldn't buy boxes. You should just buy singles if you're just trying to get the cards to build a specific deck. We're gonna see a Field Blower eliminating my buff padding, which is not that big a deal, honestly. We still get 3-shot here. And okay, this is useful. No, if we miss it. Okay, so we need a grass here or a netball. Okay, this is pretty solid. So I'm gonna definitely netball for the other Shaman. I'm gonna heal 40 damage, and then Evan has already played a Field Blower. I don't know how many. I definitely don't know how many. I can't speak today. I don't know how many Field Blowers and or stadiums he plays, but he has 2 cards in hand. He didn't do anything, I don't think, the previous turn, or maybe he Cynthia. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull in Hazard here. The damage is decreased, but he's burned, he's confused and poisoned. And now single launch only deals 30 damage, which is literally 0 now that the Ether Paradise Conservation Area is in play. Now the biggest issue is the ability from Scissor GX. That's the biggest threat to us. So we might have to try to combine the first attack plus a confusion and sometimes hope he stays confused, and or eventually use our Solar Beam or even Evergreen GX attack to get a knockout that way. So we see an energy. We see a Lele for a Guzma. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Yep. There's a Guzma, so we lose. one of these guys. Not the end of the world, but definitely. Oh no, we actually don't lose this guy thanks to the Ether Conservation, Paradise Conservation area. It's only 50 damage. Wow, that's pretty cool. That is in fact pretty cool. Sure. I'll bench the Celebi Venusaur. I'm trying to thin here, so I could just Guzma to save the energy, or I could retreat and confuse the Scissor, which is my opponent's only threat. So I think I'm gonna go for that here. The damage on the Shaman doesn't really matter to me. I'd rather just heal the active. Max, creo que el Charizard tiene potencial. No va a ser el mejor deck del formato, pero tiene potencial. And then we Pollen Hazard for only 20 damage, plus the burn, plus the confuse, plus the poison. Or 0 damage, in fact, because of the metal goggles and the first attack Steel Wing. Okay. Okay. Jake, when new sets come out, ooh, and he hits himself. When new sets come out, the packs to trade for coins always come out the day afterwards. And there's the victory. There we go. So we were finally able to stabilize with Celebi and Venusaur, and we got to a point where it's going to be really hard for my opponent to continually deal with the confusion, and also we were hopefully just able to grind out a lot of damage and potentially heal. The Ether Paradise Conservation area was really clutch there. Would you add 1 or 2 Infernape? No way, Luis, because there's no way you're going to set up a stage 2 with this sort of deck. The whole engine would have to be changed, and your goal is not to knock out the opponent's Pokemon as fast as possible. You're not trying to get KOs as fast as possible. You're actually trying to have them like burn a lot of their resources. So definitely would not consider adding Infernape to this. ¿Vas a probar el deck de Gyarados? No hoy, pero probablemente mañana, Max. So yeah, I'll probably be playing Gyarados tomorrow. Okay, finally we get a Celebi and Venusaur start. I can see how the Absol might not be too powerful. And then we're going first, so I don't need to bench the Shaman. Now this is a very solid hand. And we know we're up against Lost March, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna Nest Ball for a Shaman. And I'm gonna Net Ball for another Celebi and Venusaur. Nah, let's do the other Shaman, sure. Any damage he deals will be almost immediately healed, pretty much. I'll attach a weakness policy to the Shaman because I'm definitely not attaching it to Celebi and Venusaur. It's a useless card in this matchup, so I don't want it to just be cycling in and out of the deck. I am happy with just putting it onto Shamans and not relying on it anymore. I don't have to worry about Delinquent in the standard, which is great. And we pass, but now things are looking great. Even if I whiff the TC next turn, just as I was saying, like we're not looking to deal the most damage as quickly as possible. We're just trying to grind out games, become a tank, and make it really difficult for our opponents to take us down. Yeah. So double Hoppip, triple Hoppip rather, already established. There's an Oranguru. We see a Trumbeak, that's fine. Alex, you open up 18 of your pre-release kits, and now you have 5 Zapdos and 3 Jirachi. Very nice, very nice. And you could trade the Zapdos for Jirachi. I'm sure someone would be willing to do that just 1 for 1. And so we top deck the DCE, which is insane. I could Judge rather than Lily. How good is that? It's good because then the Judge's Whistle means we can get the Judge back to keep disrupting. We get a dead hand after the Judge. I think I'm gonna wait until I see my prize to decide on whether I want a Netball for a Celebi and Venusaur or a Grass, because I could just end up top decking Celebi and Venusaur. Jirachi is so expensive, Iberserk. Really? I saw it went down in price. Like it's, well, yeah, it's very expensive for an individual card, right? It's like $7 or $8. $7 or $8 or something. Okay, so we see another Trumbeak. We're gonna see an attack of finally for my opponent, but with triple Shaman and the buff padding, we're not gonna be too hard pressed here, or too pressured rather. Against this deck, like, we are just going to end up taking a prize every single turn because of the low HPs. So Ether Paradise Conservation Area would be amazing to draw, right? Or we just need to power up another Celebi. Like, I fully expect this one, especially with the healing, to take at least 3 prizes. So as long as we eventually get another Celebi and Venusaur powered up, we should be good to go. Unless my opponent gets to a point where he can actually one-shot a tag team, which I don't think is going to be realistic. That definitely helps. Lost Blendering 2 Pokemon immediately definitely helps his case. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 120 damage minus 60. It's only going to be 60 after the jump bluff. And if at any point my opponent whiffs an attack, that's going to be pretty good for us. Okay, so the Judge Whistle ends up playing into the Judge that I played before, into the decision of playing Judge. So really nice. It looks like I'm an okay player. I'm going to burn the hammer. I actually was wanting to flip Tails there. I actually wanted to flip Tails there in order to be able to burn the other one, because I'm not going to win this game by disrupting my opponent. Just going to win this game by making this Celebi and Venusaur last as long as possible. And so we are going to Floral Heal 3 times, of course. It's like 15 team up at the moment, I reserve. Yeah, it makes sense. On release day, it's really difficult. If you wait like a week, it should go down, and prices should stabilize quite a bit. And so we will Pollen Hazard for the knockout. Only dealing 50, burning, confusing, and poisoning. And then we get a knockout. Awesome. Okay. So Netball. Play 3 Ether. I already played 2 and the Life Force Destroyer King, so I'm only playing 3 very solid stadiums. Life Force can sometimes be better than Ether Paradise, so there is merit to playing 4 stadiums, but I think 3 is enough. He just pulled that Rainbow Venusaur Celebi GX. Starmie's a Pokemon. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Pokemon. That's 180 damage. Plus the 60 we have already. That's 240. That's still not enough to knock me out, which is insane. It is actually insane. Definitely gonna play that. Sure, I hit it. That's not really too important. I will attach. And then, I mean, it could be important if I decide to just heal and retreat and try to avoid a knockout, but I think I'm just better off just taking another knockout. I will burn the Netball for sure. I will burn the Netball. And this is a turn where I would love to have Acerola. Not gonna happen, but it's fine. I got the Ether Paradise Conservation Area. It's not gonna save this one, but it's gonna make it even harder for this one to go down. And I do think Lost March might need to end up playing stadiums, because either Paradise Conservation Area and Thunder Mountain and Life Force, they're all very detrimental to like helping it. Evergreen GX fully heal. Okay, I can't. Yeah, I couldn't do that because I had powered this guy up. Oh, you're right. I didn't need to do the bonus damage. That was actually the way to go. I mean, I can save it for Celebi and Venusaur for the benched one, right? But that was probably the way to go. That was probably the way to go, Destroyer King. I should have used... I forgot. I thought the only effect was... or I forgot the effect was... one of the effects was shuffling all the cards back if you have the extra energy, but the main effect is you get to heal, you get to fully heal Celebi and Venusaur. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. I will admit, I totally forgot about that. I think we're still gonna win. My opponent is not looking with a very solid setup right here. That is in fact a lot. Ooh, the judge gets taken away. That is in fact a lot of Pokemon in the Lost Zone, and thank you 10th for the thank you so much for the follow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Pokemon, so 220 damage. Still not enough to one-shot a Celebi and Venusaur, nowhere near close, in fact. And Celebi and Venusaur took 3 prizes, so it was still pretty cost-effective here. It was still a cost-effective Celebi and Venusaur. Do I care about putting things back into attack? Not really. So I'm gonna Netball for the other Celebi and Venusaur. And I'm gonna go ahead and attach. I will go ahead and play this. And when I want tails, I get heads. When I actually want tails, I get heads. Okay, and then I'll judge. Jake for for Shuckle GX, that's why. That's why you run the Super Boost Energy, to help with the Shuckle. As you said, there's no reason not to play it other than because you don't need the extra energy, so you actually play it in case you run into a Shuckle GX, you can one-hit KO it. Yeah, that's why. So it's not just a worse grass energy. Okay, so no attackers for my opponent is great. No grass energy in my hand is not great. My dog is scratching the sofa for some reason. Sol. Get it? I don't know why she was scratching the sofa, but she tends to do that. Like before she goes to bed, she scratches the bed. I don't know why she was scratching the sofa right now. She doesn't like to dig holes in like parks and stuff, so I don't know why she does that. Okay, so we see a Hoppip Rooney. Now I wish I had attached the grass to the active so I could just Solar Beam for the KO. We're gonna see a Lily for 5. Drawing a lot of cards, my opponent. Lost Blanders away 2 more Pokemon. Yikes. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. He's up to 260 damage, so not bad. The DC doesn't actually help me in getting a KO on Oranguru, so now I have to Cynthia for a grass, which I do not find. So I'll go ahead and attach the DC here. I will buff padding this guy. And then I will Pollen Hazard. The issue is this extra turn maybe gives my opponent what he needs in order to survive or to get to the. Wow, he needs. Wait, no, 270. I have 320 HP plus the Ether Conservation Paradise. There's no way he can one-shot me. I hope. There's absolutely no way, right? 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 300 damage already. Are you kidding me? Wow. He's going to one-shot the Celebi and Venusaur. Wow. That is crazy. That is crazy. Well played, Swaginator. Definitely completely forgot about the GX bonus of healing myself. So that definitely came into play big time. That definitely came into play big time. Because I had the grass, right? And I chose not to attach it to the active. So I should have just attached it, and if I healed, then it would have been better. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. It's fine though. Live and learn, I guess. It's only my second second game with Celebi and Venusaur. I hope we're not up against a fire deck. Yeah. If you had not benched the other one, I think you win. True. I could have also not benched the other Celebi and Venusaur. That was also perhaps a bad play. Yeah, Couple of mistakes right there. Couple of mistakes I made right there. I think you're right. So we're gonna see an Ultra Wall. Is my opponent going to be running? Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, so this is the Meganium stall deck. Yeah, this is the Meganium stall deck. So the Evergreen GX attack is actually going to come into play. The Evergreen GX attack is actually going to come into play. And if we have to deal with a Vileplume, this turn 1 Judge is pretty broken. The fact that we have this is very lucky. We might have to just end up dealing with Vileplume. And if my opponent has Lusamine, which you would expect him to do, I don't think we can win this match. No, Max. La siguiente va a ser algún GX con Malamar. Algún tag team con Malamar. Okay, so playing the escape rope now seems like a solid call. Because it puts the Vulpix out of the active spot. So he can't continuously beacon. Right? I think that's good. And then my opponent's not gonna attack me. Well, he could with Charizard, maybe. If you remove his rainbows, he can't loop right here. That's true, this Charger King. The thing is, when they play the rainbow, they immediately get it back with Acerola. They never play the rainbow. And the issue is, if they put something that I can't damage, Sloop, thanks so much for the follow. If they put something that I can't damage, I will eventually be at 10 cards, and then they use Charizard GX attack. So it's not as easy as just removing the rainbows and then that's it. Yeah, because if they play it right, they should never have rainbow energy in play. You know, if they play it right. Okay, so in order to avoid a Guzma potential stall or whatever, I'm not even gonna play the Nest Ball or the Net Ball. I don't need Shamans in this match actually. Back to not need Shamans. Okay, so Brooklet Heal is a stadium of choice, which makes sense. Does get a Mudkip. There's a Chikorita. There's a Gladion. And he could end up using Rainbow to retreat into Vulpix this turn. But that's not what's going to happen. So this makes me a happy camper. So I'm gonna Brooklet. I mean, do I even want to bench anything else? Since I don't have Choice Band... Oh, I guess I do have even and odd numbers. With the Evergreen GX attack. I think I just... I'm gonna burn these cards. Because I don't want something getting pulled up with a Guzma. Oh, you know what? I'll grab a Grass for sure. I'll grab a Grass. Opponent Greninja Meganium? No, it's not Greninja Meganium. It's actually Charizard Rhyperior Meganium. Yeah, net for a Grass indeed. And then we shall Pollen Hazard. Hopefully, with a single... Oh no, it doesn't matter if he flips heads, right? So he's up to 80, he'll be at 100, and then another 80 is a knockout. If he didn't get the 20, then it wouldn't be a knockout. Okay. No, it would be. Because then it's 90, and then I hit for another 50. 140 plus a burn plus poison. Yeah, it's a 2-hit KO no matter what. So yeah, this is Meganium Mill. There's a Rhyhorn, as you can see. And we're going to see a Stevens, which we have to judge once again. How lucky is that? We are getting very lucky. Mill against Lysander's Trump GX, indeed. That is correct. Ramble is busted. That is correct. Lysander's Trump GX. Okay, so we're gonna get 2 prizes here, which is nice. I think I just keep loading up this guy, right? So I can Solar Beam and get more knockouts that way. And I definitely Judge here. 100% using Judge here. That's his second Stevens. I remove that. And now I have a third Judge with the Judge Whistle. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm gonna burn this Net Ball. Well, you know what? Maybe that's a bit too eager. Because if at some point my opponent does manage to set up, and then, like, if he has enough Pokemon, if I only have one Celebi and Venusaur, then he could just Crimson Storm for a knockout, dealing 600 damage to my Celebi Venusaur. And even weakness policy plus Ether Paradise would not prevent me from going down. What now, mill players? Okay, so we're gonna see a Lusamine getting back double Stevens, of course. It's the only 2 supporters he has. And then we're gonna see a Beacon, which I'm gonna go ahead and judge away. I probably won't be able to get rid of the last Beacon, but we'll see. Super Boost only gives 4. So yeah, he would have to bench a Charmander and attach to it. Or he would need to attach an energy to a Charmander before that. Oh, he has the Ninetales. He has that Ninetales once again. Darn it. So the GX attack is gonna be clutch because I might just need to Guzma around the Ninetales. Unless he promotes a Vulpix and then he doesn't have a way to evolve into it. So I need him to not to draw it. That's what I need. I need him not to draw the Ninetales this turn. Yeah, that's what I need. So I'm gonna Solar Beam for 150. Get the knockout. Escape Rope and Guzmas are gonna be the MVPs here. Because I'm down to 3 prize cards. I have 1 Escape Rope and 2 Guzma, so if I get to use all of them, I'll be fine. Goes for a Nest Ball. Hudson, Beedrill, Zorg, Venom. Sounds decent. Sounds decent. Probably the best way to consistently get Beedrill out. Or with Swampert, but it could be viable. Okay, so we see a Stevens. And we're going to take out the Vulpix, which means we don't have to worry about the Luminous Barrier Ninetales, which is great, which is what we're looking for. Which is what we are looking for. So now we are actually a rush deck. We are trying to be as powerful as we can be. As quick as we can be in applying pressure and getting knockouts. So I'm gonna Lily, hopefully getting closer to Guzmas. I do not, but I do get another Judge Whistle for next turn potentially. Evergreen GX, not gonna use it this turn for sure. I'll just Solar Beam. Down to 2 prizes. No Guzma in sight. No Guzma in sight. We see a Rhyhorn. I might just end up using my GX attack to get another prize card. Well, no, never mind. Rhyhorn is weak to grass. Never mind. Okay, so my opponent finally gets Meganium out. Finally gets Meganium out. We'll use Quick Ripening Herb onto another Meganium. We'll use Quick Ripening Herb onto Swampert, I would imagine. But if we get another prize card here, then I think we're gonna be fine. The Luminous Barrier Ninetales was very scary to look at, but it's fine. We see a Stretcher. He's just gonna Stretcher into Rhyperior and discard 3 cards? Okay. I mean, it's still weak to grass, so I don't mind that. I really don't mind that. Yep. And we'll hit Shaman, Enhance Hammer, and Weakness Policy. 3 perfectly good cards I'm okay losing. Super Scoop Up, Hands, onto the Rhyperior. That's fine. And then we see the pass. There's no Golden Brooklet Heal in Team Up indeed. Okay, so should I just keep attaching Energy and Cynthia? I think I'll just Cynthia. How many cards have you left in the deck? You can see I have 36 cards left. I'm not going to deck myself out anytime soon. But yeah. There, see? I had 30 left after the Cynthia. So yeah, we end up winning. The triple judge, the back-to-back-to-back judge was super, super important. So is Venusaur worth it? Is Venusaur worth it? I think it's a solid deck. It might be a bit of a... It might be too gimmicky, but it's a super big tank. And I can see it being good against a lot of, like against Zoroark decks, against Lost March, against Buzzwole, Garb Shrine decks, against Executor, maybe even against Pikachu and Zekrom, because things have so much HP and it's really difficult to take down. But yeah, it might just be a troll deck. It has potential, but it might just be a little bit too slow. And as we saw from the loss from Glacian GX Greninja, if you can snipe the Shamans, then the damage eventually does accumulate. And it's like the deck does have draw power, but it doesn't have like a lot of draw power. So there will be instances where you're like hard pressed and stuck, and it might be hard to keep up the pressure. But yeah, that will be all for Celebi and Venusaur. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to leave a like. It really helps out the channel. And if you're live with me on Twitch, don't go anywhere, guys. I will be right back with our next team up deck, which you guys get to choose. As you can see, there are 3 Malamar decks on screen. There's Eevee, Snorlax, Malamar. There's Latios and Latios Malamar, and there's Mimikyu and Gengar Malamar. So let me know in chat which one you want to see. I will be very happy to play any of those. Just let me know which one you want to see on chat whilst I go get some water and take a small break. Be right back.